Isn't there a way that you could get your ex to miss you, to get them to want to talk to you, to want to spend time together with you, to maybe even want to commit to you again? I know that this is a very popular topic, and maybe a lot of what you've seen on the internet is telling you to do things like use reverse psychology, play mind games, pretend that you don't care, stop talking to them until they crawl over broken shards of glass or something like that. These are very common things that you've probably seen on other videos or in other places on the internet, and maybe it just leaves you feeling sort of like this yucky feeling like, hey, am I just playing mind games? Is there a way to do this? That it is actually possible, and we're going to be talking about that in this video. So please stay tuned through to the end, because we're going to be covering a lot, and I think it's going to help you immensely when it comes to making your ex miss you without playing mind games. Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life. Now today we're talking about how to make your ex miss you without mind games, without playing hard to get, without reverse psychology, without, no contact, which, the way that most people talk about it is actually a mind game, without ignoring your ex. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to develop a strong emotional connection with our partner. This is very important. Now we want to start with this because oftentimes people will get a little bit too headstrong and they'll jump right to step 3 in this process. But we have to make sure that we go through the first 2 steps. Otherwise, it's just going to come across as some sort of ultimatum. And if you've ever tried an ultimatum before, it doesn't work so well. We'll have to lay the groundwork first. Now we do this by, actually bonding, actually connecting with them, actually having things like empathy, building rapport, all of this stuff we've talked about on this channel for quite a while. And this is very important because we're building that emotional connection. We're having positive interactions that are going to bring us closer together, because these sorts of things feel good. These sorts of things build closeness. These sorts of things build bonding and empathy and a shared sort of experience with one another. This is very important because it shows our partner, it shows our ex that there is a lot in common that we have with one another, and we can actually bond, that there is something worth pursuing here in this whole situation. We have to instill this positivity for them to actually miss us further on down the road. The second step is to start to behave like an actual adult. I know that might sound a little bit flippant or a little bit callous or something like that, but there's a lot of advice out there that says, yeah, you just gotta ignore them. Yeah, you gotta wait for them to crawl over broken shards of glass. Yeah, you got to, post a bunch of stuff on social media to make them jealous and all that sort of stuff. So let's get real here. That's not what a mature adult would do. That's not something that someone who is, aligned with their true values, and somebody who's acting in integrity, and someone who is probably the ideal partner that your ex wants to be with is going to do. What would an adult do? An adult would clearly communicate what they want. They would behave with maturity. They would behave with responsibility. They would behave with compassion. They would enforce boundaries for sure when needed, but they would also embody all of these other positive qualities as well too. So we really want to behave as an adult rather than some sort of, immature person who's just going to act impulsively and, do things that are rash or do things that are aggravating or annoying or incite violence or incite aggression or something like that. We want to behave composed, rationally, and also compassionately as well too, both for ourselves and for them as well too. Now we get into the juicy parts, because we've laid the foundation for this next segment here. Before we get into that though, if you do like this video, please help a guy out with his YouTube channel by hitting that thumbs up button for the algorithm. Subscribe to this channel, and most importantly of all, click that notification bell as you are subscribing, because that does also help our channel out immensely. Thank you so much for doing all of that. So we've laid the foundation here. We have built that emotional connection. They now know that we can have these positive interactions that allow us to feel good when we're interacting with each other. And we've also behaved as an adult, so they can't look back at us and say, oh, look at you, you're so immature, you're so petty, you're so self-absorbed, you're so, whatever. They can't really do that. They have to look at us as, okay, you're probably the exact kind of person that I want to be in a relationship. If you can just do these two things, build an emotional connection and behave like an adult, you're probably going to come across as the exact kind of person that they want to be in a relationship with. And this is where the important stuff starts to come into play. And this is where a lot of people actually start on this whole journey. They start here at step 3, which is to, inform their ex, their partner, that they can't continue on like this forever. They can't continue to, keep the door open. They can't continue to just, casually talk. They can't continue to, just hook up or whatever, right? They can't do this forever, and that what they're actually looking for is a solid, committed relationship. And if that's with you, excellent. I'd love to explore what that might look like. If it's not with you, that's fine too. But just so you know, I might start dating some other people, and that might mean that we might not be able to spend as much time together. And if I end up in a committed relationship, they might not like me spending time with you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you get it, right? There's obviously consequences. And so if you're able to explain this to them, you're now doing what we'd say is leveraging the emotional connection that you actually have. And as this happens, it's not going to come across so much like an ultimatum because you're communicating like an adult through all of this, but it's also going to be pulling at the positive emotional bond that you've already created with them. Maybe you already have this. As this happens, they're going to feel a certain sense of loss if they don't do what part of them wants to do, which is to move closer to you. That's the whole thing. Between this whole experience here, they're going through an emotional journey here. And there's really two important parts of them. There's the part of them that wants to enjoy that good feeling that they have when they're with you. And it tells them, hey, let's spend time together. Hey, let's get close. Hey, let's bond. Hey, let's, maybe do some other stuff. And then there's another part of them that starts to feel fearful that things are going to end up with more hurt, more disappointment, more pain, more whatever caused the breakup in the first place. When they start to move too much into that good feeling, that fearful part of them says, hey, whoa, this is getting too heavy. This is going too fast. We better back off here. What if we get hurt again? What if I end up getting disappointed again? What if things don't go the way that I want again? I better create some more space. I better back off. I better come up with some reason why we can't be together. I better come up with some sort of reason why we should, take a break or not talk or date other people or something like that. And so it's really these two things that we're trying to navigate here. We want to obviously increase the positive feelings, and we want to decrease that feeling of fear. And when we, let them know that we can't be in this situation forever, what we're doing is we're really speaking to that positive feeling that says, hey, it does feel good. Maybe we should spend some time together, right? And we're also speaking to that fearful part that says, hey, like, how legit is this fear here? Maybe it's time we just get over this and actually let ourselves do what we want. And so that's the third step in this process. The fourth step in this process is, if it comes to it, like, honestly, sometimes if you just do those first three, that might be enough to get them to say, okay, hey, well, maybe we should actually get back together again, or maybe we should actually, get past whatever the block is that's keeping us apart right now. That could work. But if for whatever reason they persist in their fear, if for whatever reason they persist in letting that fearful side of them be bigger than the side of them that does want to connect with you, then we get to step 4, which is to let them experience the full weight of the consequence of their decision. Now, what do I mean by this? That means that, you actually have to follow through on what you said you're going to do. And this might feel scary for some people, because it might feel like, okay, I'm giving up here. I'm letting them walk away. I'm walking away myself. I'm never going to see them again. And it might feel that way, especially if you've skipped step 1 and step 2 and you've just gone straight for, the ultimatum or something like that. And, I've talked to so many people who have tried ultimatums at some point in the past. And if you just do step 3 and step 4, yeah, it's probably not going to work out so well for you. I get it. But if you make sure that you do those first 2 steps and lay that foundation, you're probably going to get a much different response, because now they have to experience the weight of their choice. Now that part of them that values the connection that the two of you had, now the part of them that values the bond that the two of you had, now that starts to kick in and says, hey, I really miss them. Hey, I miss the connection that we had. Hey, I miss having this person that I can share my life with. Hey, I miss having this person that I can share all my fears and frustrations and challenges with. Why can't I do it? It's because I wasn't able to walk through that open door. I wasn't able to own what I wanted. I wasn't able to be bigger than the fear that I was feeling in that moment. And that then can inspire them to take that step forward and to allow the two of you to move closer together again. And that, my friends, is how we actually get our ex to miss us without playing mind games. This is very authentic. This is very transparent. This is very aligned with what most people's values are. So this is something that you can feel good about. It's not, making them jealous by, pretending that you're dating a million other people or something like that. This is actually being congruent with what you are probably wanting as an individual who, watches these videos here. Now, if you do want to learn more about how to connect with them emotionally, this is a very important step in this whole process. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to check out this video series over here on advanced relational skills to help you build that bond. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching. Congratulations, you have made it to the end of this video. Please give yourself a thumbs up if you have. Please drop a comment down below. And with that being said, I will talk to you next time.